Hey guys, Nick from the Contrarians here. Today we're going to be doing some feedback on your comments on our 14th episode, where we did Metallica, and I made the contrarian choice of picking Injustice for All. So let's go through the comments together, shall we? Okay, so Mojo Bundy made a comment where he said, I have a hard time getting into A Justice for All. The songs really miss the melodic counterpoint and dynamics Cliff brought to the songwriting on the first three albums. I have a somewhat contrarian view on Metallica myself, not so much in my favorite album, as that could be any of the first three, but that my next favorite after those is Load, which feels like a more honest expression of Metallica having fun as a band than A Justice for All or the Black Album, that both kind of feel rigid to me. My love doesn't extend to Reload, which has always felt like The Leftovers. Yeah, I think especially James's voice on that album, he does a lot of things that I think he wouldn't have felt comfortable doing on the more thrash sounding albums. It's not for a lot of people. I like it. I wouldn't put it as my second favorite album, but that's a nice contrarian viewpoint. We're happy to have you here. The Mighty Decibel Heavy Metal wrote, Justice was the album where Metallica lost some of their initial fan base, Master of Puppets, while a watered-down version of Ride the Lightning, the band's best album, retained enough of the extreme thrash to appease the underground, whereas Justice took a turn to prog and straight-up metal, thereby abandoning the extreme metal throne they'd ascended to only a few years previous. A truly disappointing release for the hardcore fan. That's really interesting. I wrote a response comment that you can go check out if you want to join the conversation. But basically, in my mind, Metallica has several different niches that they carved out for themselves in their own discography. They have the more rock sound, they have the more prog metal sound, and then they have the more extreme and thrash sound. So this is a really interesting point. There, especially with Metallica, if you have a favorite album, there's another fan who has a completely different view on that album because it doesn't fit into the sound of Metallica that they like. And I think it speaks to the band that they were able to do so many different sounds and get so many different fan bases within that. Really interesting. Pontus Wittenmark wrote, the mix makes me want to cough like having ashes in your mouth. Yeah, that's it's hard to argue with that, but I kind of like that feeling. So maybe I'm just a weirdo. Probably. Brandon Belt wrote, I'm totally okay with this. I can actually see three of Metallica's albums vying for best overall. Kill 'Em All has the most raw punk energy and arguably the best riffs. Ride the Lightning, the best overall package, melding of the energy riffs of Kill 'Em All and the progressive heaviness that they were associated with during the rest of the 80s. And C, Injustice for All, them at their most progressive and, yes, heaviest. Yeah, so I would agree with this. It kind of speaks to what I was just saying, and I think it's interesting in that those first albums, there's kind of a gradient of sounds being formed. Master of Puppets seems to be the sort of transitional album, I really, really like Master of Puppets. Master of Puppets is second or third for me. I really like Kill 'Em All as well, so it's kind of a hard argument to make, but yeah. I wish we had time to go through them all, but I am starting to run out of time. So I want to go to what I found was the most interesting comment, which was by JML. So I agree with the notion that this album is an honest representation of where Metallica were outside performing as a band at that point in time. Jason wasn't fully accepted as one of the guys yet, so it makes sense that we do not hear much of his instrument in the mix. I always thought Justice sounds great, as if Leper Messiah is the template song for the whole album. A more serious, less sinister Metallica, maybe not as energetic as the first three. Obviously, the guitar tone is a game changer. James is vocally at his meanest on this one, and some argue Kirk is at his shredding peak. Still, I can't help but think that Injustice for All is not as accomplished an album as its predecessor and its follow-up. Even though it always appears in Metallica fans' top 5 Metallica albums, over my 30 years of hearing it, I've come to view Injustice for All as an overrated album. Nowadays, when I want to hear the band going in the gray and overindulgent direction, I listen to Death Magnetic, which I consider their best album since Load. Yes, I do like the Load album. It features great production mix and grunting Hetfield's swan song performances. What I really like about this comment is that it takes everything I said and turns it on its head and uses it almost, not necessarily as a negative, but basically to justify why it's not the best album. And that really speaks to taste, and that Metallica is, love them or hate them for this, they can reach out to almost anyone's taste. If you like hard rock, if you like heavy metal, there are Metallica songs out there. There's a Metallica album that you will love, and they'll be your best album. And that's why it's so easy to have a contrarian choice for Metallica. And that's one of the things I really like about Metallica. Thanks, guys. Really appreciate the comments. And, those conversations are still ongoing. You can join in those comment chains, and people will respond, and we can all have a nice conversation about this, or a mean one if we really want to. One last thing I wanted to say is we're going to be giving away some of Martin Popoff's ebooks. All you have to do is follow us on one of our social media accounts, and then each one of those will have a contest post posted there. You can share that post, or you can tag a friend on the post, and then just comment on it so that we know that you did it. And you'll win a chance to win one of Martin's ebooks. We're doing monthly draws, ongoing. We picked up a whole bunch for Martin, and we want to share them with the community because we know a lot of you guys are big fans of Martin, and this is a way to help grow the channel and get some ebooks out there. So thanks, guys. We're really blown away by all the subscriptions, all the views. It's amazing. All the comments. We get so many comments now. Before, when we did these, we struggled to find enough comments, and now we've got so many that I had to cut out a few. So I encourage you to scroll through the comments when you're watching the videos and join the conversation. There's a lot of people who want to talk about this stuff, and we love seeing the conversation. We love being part of it. So thanks again, guys. Happy New Year.